Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is Chair Borja. I am calling our meeting to order at 6:38. Yeah. Madam Clerk of the Board, can you please call roll?
Absolutely. Member Brantley? Member Miller?
Here.
Member Sylvester?
Here.
Member Thompson? Member, oh, that's right, Trevor Gitsy. Member Borja? Okay. And you do have a quorum.
Here.
Thank you.
Please lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And before we begin with introductions, would you please provide us with the county notification on how the meeting is being held?
Absolutely. This meeting is live streamed and temporarily closed to in-person public participation. The clerk's office is in the process of hosting hybrid public meetings that will provide board members and members of the public with the option to participate in the meeting either in person or remotely. Thank you for your patience and support. So to make a verbal comment at today's meeting, dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, callers will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted. Feel free to email your comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net, and your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. And I see that we have Member Thompson on the phone, and Member Thompson is in the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that announcement, and welcome, Member Thompson. Hope you're having a good evening. We do have an agenda to follow this evening, starting with PLNP 2021-00032, Calvine Liquor PCN. Would the lead planner from the county, Gemma Tierney, please begin the presentation?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. My name is Gemma Tierney, and I'm an assistant planner with the County Office of Planning and Environmental Review. And I am the project manager for this application for a letter of public convenience or necessity. Next slide, please. So before I begin on the project, I wanted to provide some info about accessing the county's online planning project reviewer. If you go to planningdocuments.saccounty.net, you can search for county planning projects like the one I'm presenting on today, and you can access information including the project status, entitlement type, and published documents. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the project site is located at 8851 Calvine Road in a multi-tenant commercial building located about 650 feet west of the Calvine Road, Elk Grove, Florin Road intersection. This is a developed parcel that's zoned LC for light commercial. The other active business licenses associated with this parcel are a grocery store, a salon, an automotive detailing service, and a meat shop. The slide shows an aerial image and a zoning map of the project site and the surrounding area. The aerial image dates from 2018, and that is the county parcel viewer's most recent aerial image. So I should note that Google Street View shows that the parcel immediately to the left of the project site has been developed with a tire shop and an associated parking lot since this aerial image was taken. Next slide, please. The request is for a letter of public convenience or necessity, or PCN, from the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors. and it's for a Type 21 liquor license to allow for the sale of beer, wine, and spirits at a proposed new liquor store. The California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, or ABC, is the authority on issuing liquor licenses in California. However, when a license is applied for in a census tract that has an overconcentration of liquor licenses, or in an area identified by the sheriff's office as exceeding that office's high crime threshold, ABC allows the local governing body, in this case the county, to make a determination of public convenience or necessity before the ABC issues that liquor license. In this case, a PCN is required because the proposed location is in a high crime reporting area as specified by the sheriff's office. And just another key point is that the hours of operation are proposed to be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, and these hours meet the condition of approval from the sheriff's office that alcohol only be sold at those times of day. Next slide, please. This is a site plan provided by the applicant, and you can see there's 8 red dots around the perimeter of the building. And these indicate the locations of the building's exterior security cameras. Next slide, please. And here is a floor plan of the proposed liquor store, which is going into one suite in the building. It shows 15 interior security cameras, and then it also indicates the location of the closest exterior security camera next to the front entrance, and that's at the top of this drawing. And then it also shows that the liquor will be stored behind the cashier's counter, so it can only be accessed by an employee. Next slide, please. ABC allows a certain number of on-sale and off-sale liquor licenses in each census tract. This number is set by a ratio of licenses per a certain number of people. For this census tract, which is 9317, three off-sale licenses are authorized. You can see that number highlighted in yellow in the far left cell on the upper table. The bottom table shows the search results for currently active off-sale licenses in the census tract. So based on these search results, there's 2 active licenses. So the number of liquor licenses in this census tract does not currently exceed that authorized amount of 3. And these tables were taken from online ABC's license lookup tool, so you can also access this information online. Next slide, please. This is a map of the Sheriff's Office District 6. It shows which sub-areas are above or below the Sheriff's Office high crime threshold. And just to note, you'll see that this map is from 2019. I've since received a 2020 map from them, which is the most recent map because it covers the whole calendar year. And that 2020 map also shows that the project site is still in an area that exceeds the sheriff's high crime threshold. So this is the reason that the PCN is required for this liquor license. And attachment 5 in the CPAC packet is a letter from the county sheriff's office in which they provide conditions that the business must meet in order for the sheriff's office to withdraw their protest to the license. Next slide, please. This map shows schools, daycare centers, vacant parcels, and other liquor licenses within a 1-mile radius of the project site. So please note this map was created on July 23rd, 2021, with the most recent data that was available to our office's GIS analyst. He remapped the vacant parcel data yesterday and found that a few of the vacant parcels have since been reclassified as occupied, including that one that's immediately to the left of the project site that's now a tire shop, as I mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. This concludes my presentation, and I can now take questions, and a representative for the applicant is also on the meeting and available to answer questions. Thank you.
So this is Member Miller, and I just have a general statement. So I have to agree with the ABC, and they're right, that is a very high crime area. Number 2, there are many liquor stores in that general facility. You've got Safeway right there that sells liquor, the Circle K where that is a high crime area. You've got a Walgreens hanging around there. You've got a CVS. You've got Bel Air. You've got a Chevron gas station down the street that has a mini mart, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple of other ones. I don't understand how many liquor stores we need in this area. So I will be voting no, just to let you know.
This is Member Brantley. I live just a few blocks from here, and there's literally one on every corner except for this one, and we do not need any more. I just wanted my comment to be in there that I am very much opposed to this.
And hi, this is Member Sylvester, and I concur with members that have just spoken, Brantley and Miller. And I don't live that close to that area, but I do know, as Member Miller said, Safeway and other establishments provide many avenues for purchasing liquor, and with the crime rate being that it is in that area, with some concern, I think having a liquor store will just accentuate that. It will perpetrate that. It will instigate more opportunities for crime. Even though it's open it closes at 10 o'clock. There's still that's still from 8 to 10 is still 14 hours, if my math is correct, for people to purchase alcohol there. So I oppose it as well.
This is Chairperson Borja. Before we hear from other members, would the applicant like to present or answer any questions or provide any other information at this time?
I oppose this store there because I think there's too many places there that can sell liquor already. I mean, to me, it's kind of overkill because you got 4 or 5 places right in there that you can buy alcohol and liquor at. And I mean, I just think there's too much liquor being sold already in that area. So therefore, I'll vote no too.
Is the applicant in the call?
Yes, hi there. This is Jason Coe. I'm the representative for the applicant. I want to thank everyone for their time this evening. I want to clarify one thing from the planner, that this is not strictly a liquor store. They are selling items just outside of alcohol. In fact, they have Asian goods, American goods, Indian goods, things of that nature. So I'm not quite sure why this was presented as a liquor store. This is more of like a boutique market, which I know that there is a Punjabi bazaar right next door that specializes in Indian goods. But this is not going to be just Indian goods. This is going to feed to the demographic area and those that live in it. So I just want to clarify to the committee that this is not strictly a liquor store. You don't go in here buying Black and Milds and 40s. That's not what these guys are intending to do. These applicants own several liquor licenses in Solano County and Vacaville specifically, restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, etc. It's an entrepreneurial family. And their intention is to not run a straight liquor store. Again, it is going to be more of a market on a smaller scale. It won't be as large as Safeway and Walgreens, but it'll be more of a neighborhood market rather than a liquor store. So I just want to make sure that's clarified with everyone. And the applicant also is willing to abide with all of the suggestions from the PD. They don't want to be open in the late hours. They don't want to be involved with that high crime. They have no interest in doing that. In fact, they want to be able to join the community in helping kind of mitigate that. And I understand that the alcohol sales may somewhat contradict that, but that is just part of their businesses that they run, and that's why they had applied for such.
So I really appreciate your input. This is Member Miller. I'm still going to vote no. So I embrace the fact that, there is another place where I can go to find different types of foods, be it Indian food or what have you, and I really do appreciate that. But if that's the goal, and they don't want to get them, and they want to get involved with the helping with the crime area, I think that's wonderful. We should all be getting involved in our community and making it a safer place. So if they don't have the liquor in there, that's fine by me, and I will still be voting no. They can fill the space up with something else then, some other type of food or something else. That's all I had.
Any other
So this is
questions? Go ahead,
this
Member
is member.
Sylvester.
Hi. So to the representative, I wanted to ask you, what kind of establishment is it? Is it a retail store? Is it a general purpose store? Because I'm familiar with that market. I've gone to I think it's the Punjabi store, and to get some rice and some unique goods that they offer. So I know the area, but what specifically is their goal? What kind of market are they trying to reach?
I think they want to just be more of a convenience, rather than being a specific kind of Indian market. And it is an Indian family that is running this particular business or applying for this particular business. But because Punjabi is already there, their interest is really to bring a convenience to the area in regards to other items outside of rice and things like that. So you'll be able to go there, get your produce. You'll be able to get milk. You'll be able to get eggs. Those coolers on the floor plan are not just going to be filled with beer. Those are going to be filled with other beverages that, like, for instance, the kids from Calvine High can walk over to and pick up. You can see that they have numerous cameras throughout, and that the alcohol cannot be purchased or, from a minor or anything of that nature without it being caught on camera. So, their intent is to really be able to provide a convenience to the area with their particular goods. What particular goods they're going to sell, they're going to hone down as they get closer to their opening, as this place still needs to be built. But their intention, again, is to be able to provide a full line of goods outside of alcohol. So, in other words, the neighborhood next door, instead of having to drive to a Walgreens or a Safeway, you could walk over to that particular location, get all your items that you may need for breakfast, lunch, and or dinner, and be able to walk back home with those items.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice store, a nice concept. And I'm with Miller. I like everything about it except the alcohol part. You just mentioned
Right.
the young people, and we all know how savvy and cunning our youth can be, and God forbid they get a fake ID or have
Sure.
someone purchase some alcohol for them. I mean, we all know that can happen. So
Right. And I can understand that. At the same time, I want the committee to take in the fact that these guys are multiple license owners. So this is not their first rodeo, so to speak. They have all of the ID scanners, all of that kind of good stuff, because, again, they own other stores that operate in the same fashion. So their intention, again, is they're not going to not card people. Part of the ABC regulation is all of their employees have to go through training, alcohol training, and things of that. They would be moving some of their older employees from their current stores to this particular location to help kind of get it running in the proper fashion. So I do want the committee to please take into account that these are multiple license owners, that this is not their first time. They are not neophytes to this particular process and how to operate this particular type of business. That may not change your guys' mind, but again, just take it into account.
So it's really nice that they have other liquor license, but what we're referring to is the area itself and where the store is located, as far as having the availability of even more liquor in the area. There are many, many stores in that area that already sell liquor, and if somebody needs to walk across the street over to Safeway or Bel Air or someplace else to go get their liquor during lunchtime, that's fine and dandy. But there are enough stores in that area that sell liquor at this current time where I don't believe that we need another one in our community.
Understood.
This is Chairperson Borja. I have a question to Gemma, the planner. Gemma, are you there?
Yes.
What is the process in here after we vote? The license application goes through Planning Commission. Is that correct?
It goes next to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay. And the Board of Supervisors will be looking at any conditional approvals that have been included by the sheriff and ABC. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, they would also receive that letter from the sheriff's office, and then the framework of the situation, why they're granting a PCN. I haven't received any conditions from the ABC for the PCN because they would be putting those on their license.
So from a layperson perspective, the sheriff has granted a PCN for this application?
They have said that they would not protest the granting of it if all of the conditions in their letter are met.
Does the applicant wish to abide by all those conditions?
Yes, in fact, we confirmed that with Ms. Patton when we had first initiated this, and she sent us over those PD conditions. Again, my client had no issues with those whatsoever and would like to abide by what the PD is suggesting.
Understood. Gemma, if this item is voted unsuccessfully in CPAC, what is the next process for the applicant? Does it still go through the Board of Supervisors, and then the electeds will have the opportunity to decide whether or not they like this?
Yeah, it would still go to the Board of Supervisors. So your vote today would be a recommendation.
Yeah, but what we could also do is write letters to Supervisor Natoli urging him to vote no. I've done that before. So,
okay.
and he reads the emails.
Understood. And thank you for the remainder of our board members present. I'm a little bit torn on this item. I very much understand, having grown up here, having gone to high school locally here, having come back from college and bought a home here at the age of 23. I do understand where you all are coming from. However, I've also had an opportunity to visit the Baines Meat Market shop. I get my tires rotated at America's Tire. I briefly shop and still do shop at Pacific Islander Market, and I do clearly see where you all are coming from because of the number of let's say next door neighbor kind of crimes that or concerns that have been called out by our community members, as well as some of the mental health issues that have been seen by the county. My concern is that we as community citizens, can provide feedback, but the sheriff did provide that they're not going to be protesting. Second part is that I am not sure whether or not this would have an impact to the viability of the applicant's business proposal, as to whether or not they could still be successful, because I think we have to balance inclusivity as well as safety and public safety for our folks. So, having said that, would voting down one other liquor license lower the crimes in the area? I'm not sure. The sheriff would probably be the subject matter expertise from that. Would that prevent another?
I'd like to make a comment on this.
Bill, can I finish my?
Yes.
So much.
The chairperson's
I'd
asking.
like to make a comment on it, please.
Bill, let me finish my thoughts, sir, and I will give you your time. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So I understand where you all are coming from, and I definitely do. I think that this has to be looked at in very many different lenses, considering both safety, economic viability, and also access to the community here. Because if we're voting this down based on just a crime, then we're penalizing folks that are coming in late and essentially promoting big market stores that have already had the ability to get their licenses earlier before all of us were part of the CPAC. And then now we're not allowing mom and pop stores to thrive. So again, I'm trying to be open-minded on both sides, but I'd also like for you to recognize that there are certain pros and cons and arguments that are being made. The sheriff being the subject matter expertise on safety, for them to provide that feedback to Supervisor Matoli. And also, I'd really like for us to consider some of the comments that were submitted via letter that also show. So it's not just, us four making the decision, but also community. Again, I'm not voting yes or no. I'd just like for you all to just be open-minded about whatever sides. That's my 2 cents. Member Thompson, I spoke too much. It's your turn, sir.
Well, the only comment I've got is my experience has been, I know I go down here to the corner of Florin and French, and in there, those guys, they go in and they buy their liquor, and then they take it to someplace else and drink it. Now, over at the corner of Power Inn down there in the middle, there's a little mini mart there. The people go in that store and they buy a 6-pack of beer, take it across the street over there to them houses, sit on the grass, and drink their alcohol there. Now, I don't see where that's going to help American Tire and the other places to have beer cans and stuff on their property that they're going to have to pick up. Now, that's all I've got to say about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Member Tom. That is a good question. Would the applicant's representation share if there is any support from the rest of the businesses in that parking lot?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I had a long discussion with the property owner of the entire parcel, and I've let them know of, one, the PD conditions, and two, also ensuring that they keep the location clean, safe, and friendly, because obviously the high crime is a big issue for the community, which is completely understandable. The landlord is new, and so them being new property owners, they in fact do not want to have beer cans hanging around. They don't want to have 18-wheelers loitering. The landlord has told all of their tenants that they need to make sure that they have signs of no loitering, that if people are just parked in front of their businesses, that they need to be able to tell them to leave. That's why the camera systems are installed. I've even suggested to the landlord that they may want to hire security, but again, I don't know if that's going to be something that the committee wants. Security people outside of these businesses, it may look not great from an aesthetics point of view, but the landlord is very on board with ensuring that this location is not littered with beer cans, with transients, with rogue people having drinks in paper bags. It's the last thing that they want in the area, in particular because there's the neighborhood right next door and you have a very busy street on Calvine Road right there. I can't speak for the previous landlords, but I can speak for these ones, and they've made it very clear to me that they are cleaning up this particular location and ensuring that it is not ran like it was previously.
I'd like to ask one other question, please.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Thompson.
Are they going to be selling gas and diesel there?
No, this is not a gas station.
This is not going to be in other words, it's not going to be where they'll sell gas and diesel and stuff like that.
Correct. You will not get gas. You will not get diesel. You're not going to get 40s. You're not going to get single shooters. None of that type of stuff. It is not going to be a gas station, liquor store. It is going to be more of a neighborhood market.
Okay. I still think, though, they might have truck drivers stop and run in and buy something and then jump back in their trucks and take off. I still think you're going to have a problem with that.
Speaking with the landlord about the trucks, because I did bring that up to the landlord. I said, there's a complaint about a bunch of these 18-wheelers being parked there, and they said, we're ridding of that, Jason. And so I have to trust them at their word. Obviously actions speak louder than words. And so I'm not sure over the next, few months or whatever, however long this process may take to get to the next board of supervisors and kind of see this out. But I've told them very clearly that if there's any loitering, they got to get rid of that. And part of the PD conditions is that they would have required to have no loitering signs and things like that. I don't think that that's a condition that's required for the retail locations that are there currently, but by adding alcohol at this particular parcel, those signs will have to be up. And I think that'll help alleviate the issue of these 18-wheelers kind of just hanging out. I do agree with Mr. Thompson in that it is dangerous for an 18-wheeler driver to go to the store and pick up alcohol. and go back into their 18-wheeler and drive off. If there's something that we could work with the committee and maybe including condition that if someone pulls up with an 18-wheeler, they can't be sold alcohol due to the law, maybe that's something we can enforce on conditions. And I know my client would be more than happy to do that. Again, their interest is to not add pain and heartache to the community. They want to be a benefit to it, you know.
Most of your truck drivers aren't going to buy alcohol and jump back in their truck and take off. They're going to buy soda pop or something to snack on and then take off.
Right, which that, I mean, you know, again, with the no loitering, I don't think that they're going to be able to just hang out. If they do hang out, then obviously staff at that building will then go out to the truck driver and say, there's no loitering. You know, you have to depart the area. You purchase your goods and
in the parking lot, I'll tell you that right now, because there wouldn't be enough room to turn the rig around in there.
right,
And get back
right.
out, because it takes too much room.
If there are no other questions or comments from the board, I'd like to ask the board clerk if you could please perhaps read into record or a summary of the letters that we have received so that we have it on the record.
Absolutely. There are 2 letters of record, and the first public comment is from a Brittany Tracy, and she says, I know they're probably going to be talking about community planning for a liquor store in Vineyard. We do not need another liquor store nor car wash. We have too many already. I feel like the county in general has the wrong priorities. You should zone more for low-income housing, because I am tired of walking down the street and seeing homeless encampments, with some of which are dangerous because you don't know if they're on drugs, alcohol, or just beg for money until you get annoyed and want to walk the other way. It has gotten to the point that I hate walking down the street and I love to walk. Another thing, why are there not enough sidewalks? Would that be a county thing to pay for, not something for homeowners to do? Walking around is not just a poor people thing. There are people who like to walk, who live in nice houses too, that like to walk. It's an everybody thing. I feel like Sacramento County doesn't want to zone for low-income housing because it makes them no money, and most of Sacramento are money hungry and do not care about the well-being of everyday people who struggle. Not everyone can afford a $500,000 plus house unless they have like 6 or more other incomes and cram with multiple households to afford one house. That is just awful. But yes, they rather build a liquor store than finding a way to stop homelessness, instead of creating more of a problem, because this attracts more homeless crowds when there are liquor stores, because a few of those homeless have drug, alcohol, and mental illness problems. You're making an already bad problem worse, because they'll want to camp out at these places and beg for money again. Another thing, the pedestrian lights are too quick and the street lights for the cars and trucks are too long. You nearly get hit trying to cross the street. In less than a second, it turns red for pedestrians, and then the cars want to speed by because they wait too long at the stoplight that they become impatient and want to run pedestrians over, which is so wrong. There are plenty of ways and places zoning, maximize zoning, to come up with the money to build low-income housing, but the county would rather spend their resources on liquor stores, expensive condos, and houses nobody can afford, leave them empty, then they go into foreclosure because not many can afford it, instead of zoning for lower-income people to stay there and just keep people who are working, who cannot afford the rent, to be homeless. Homelessness is a mixed batch of people. Yes, a small percentage are drug heads, alcoholics, and mentally ill, but there are a lot of single people, disabled, elderly, and families who just want a decent place to live without it being so expensive. I know the American dream is dying and nobody can barely afford an apartment anymore, but that doesn't mean somebody can do something about it. Everybody can. People just choose not to. How can people sleep at night knowing the awful problems in this world not being taken care of? It's a shame. And the second public comment is from a Bernice Walton, and it reads, regarding Vineyard Community Planning Advisory Council meeting, August 2021 at 6:30. To whom it may concern, we are opposed to the selling of liquor at 8851 Calvin Road, Sacramento, California 95828. Please see the attached January 18th, 2021 document submitted to the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control in protest against the issuance of an alcoholic beverage license. In a telephone conversation on March 16th, 2021, Bette Daniels of DABC acknowledged that the Sheriff's Department admitted the area that 8851 Calvine Road, Sacramento, California 95828 was located was indeed a high crime area. She further stated because decisions were based on census tracts, not neighborhoods or zip codes, thus giving a false impression of the true number of businesses selling liquor in a given geographic area. She further admitted granting an alcoholic beverage license to 8851 Calvine Road would create a concentration of businesses selling alcohol. For the last several months, the parking and storage of several 18-wheelers, with or without their semi-trailers, and U-Haul rental vehicles has been occurring on 8851 Calvine Road's paved parking lot, as well as on their dirt and dry grass area. On occasion, the vehicles are clearly being worked on and are visible to the public. For the Department of Transportation, drivers are forbidden to use alcohol, be under the influence of alcohol, or have any measured alcohol concentration while on duty or operating or in physical control of a commercial motor vehicle. The sale of alcohol, where 18-wheeler vehicles are parked, stored, and mechanically maintained, is a recipe for disaster. What assurance do we have that the drivers of the 18-wheelers who store, park, and maintain their vehicles at 8851 Calvine Road will abstain from drinking at the establishment? Further, no notification of a zoning change that allowed the storage, parking, and mechanical maintenance of the previously mentioned vehicles was provided to the residents whose property is adversely impacted. Sincerely, Thomas and Bernice Wilton. And that concludes your written public comments.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Are there any other public comments this evening?
There are no other public comments for this item.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If there are no other further questions or comments, would there be a motion from any of the board members, please?
I move to not approve this.
I think that's Member Miller, if I...
Yes, it is.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to assume. Okay, thank you.
And Member Thompson.
This is
Member Thompson is seconding.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments or questions before we call for a vote?
So just to clarify, we are voting to not approve. A yes vote means you do not approve this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Chair Borges, shall I call the roll?
Yes, please.
Okay. Member Brantley.
yes, I vote to not approve this.
Member Miller.
Yes, I vote not to approve this.
Member Sylvester.
Yes, I vote to not approve.
Member Thompson.
I vote to not approve it.
And Chair Borgia.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Thank you, Bill. I will also be voting to not approve the liquor license at this time.
Thank you. And the motion carries to not approve the liquor license by those members present.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing how this is going to be dealt by Supervisor Natoli and the rest of the Board of Supervisors. I do want to put into record that we do as a community clearly see the importance of having an inclusive and culturally sensitive store space, recognizing the importance of the South Asian and Indian and Sikh community, Punjabi communities. However, I just feel that there may be a better opportunity for better business and citing health and safety this time. So I'll be speaking to the supervisor about this. It is a very difficult decision for them. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, on this. Moving on to the agenda. Are there any staff updates?
Yes, I believe Alma from the Clerk of the Board's office does have an update. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Hello, members. This is Alma from the Clerk of the Board's office. I just wanted to make a couple announcements during staff updates. One, I don't know if everybody knows, but Stephanie Townsend was promoted and is now working in the Department of Probation. And we have a new deputy clerk who's going to be taking over her duties. Her name is Rochelle Rolanka, and she's listening in on the meeting right now. And she's in training, and so she'll be contacting you, or she'll be your primary contact, as well as myself, for meetings. So that's my first announcement. And then my second announcement is in the month of September, the Vineyard, we will have a Vineyard CPAC meeting. However, I will be contacting the members to find out if you are all available on the on Thursday, September 2nd as an alternative date, because your regular meeting date conflicts with the Board of Supervisors budget hearings. And so we need to find a different date for you to meet. And we know that there's an item that's coming before your board in September. So I will be contacting you, and you can respond via email. I will work with Member Thompson and coordinate with his schedule as well. So I just wanted to give you a heads up about that for next month. And that concludes my update.
So I just looked on my calendar for the September meeting,
Yes.
and I have it on my calendar on the 9th. So are you saying that's the meeting that's going to get moved?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to move
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Alma.
Wait. I've got one question when you get a chance.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Thompson.
When are we going to get to meet back in the place up here on Waterman?
Unfortunately, Member Thompson, with the Delta variant and things going the way they are, that's going to probably take a little bit longer. The clerk of the board is in the process of purchasing the equipment required to assist us with conducting hybrid meetings, so that we can have meetings in person and also allow virtual access to the public, which is now probably going to be required by the state.
Well, how much longer is that going to take?
I don't have a timeline, sir. I'm sorry.
No. Because I'm sure growing to hate this telephone.
I know. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
Trying my best.
Bill.
Excuse me?
I said I'm trying my best.
No, that was me, Bill. I said we do miss seeing you in person, sir.
Yeah, I miss seeing all you guys too. I got one other question.
Go ahead,
Is
sir.
there anything that can be done about this high school on Sheldon Road or on Calvine Road? Tonight it took me 30 minutes to get to the doctor's office over on Kimberlake. Took me over 30 minutes to get there.
Bill,
So
which high school is it? Monterey Trail?
You can't get down it. You can't get up Calvine or down it.
So it's on Calvine at the corner of Bradshaw and between Bradshaw and Bridge.
Between
So
Bradshaw and Waterman.
Yeah.
That high school there on Calvine, between Waterman and Bradshaw, you cannot get through there. I mean, it took me over 20 minutes to go from Bradshaw to Waterman Road.
We had the same trouble today, Bill, also, if it makes you not feel any better. But yeah, the traffic. So today was the first day of school, which is part of the issue. Number two, there's two high schools right there. One's I think a Catholic high school, I'm not sure. And then the other one is Sheldon High School.
Well, the people, I mean, they stop in the middle of the street and pick up their kids.
Yep.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The highway patrol needs to be brought out there, and something needs to be done about that, because that's ridiculous. I mean, you cannot take over 20 minutes to get from Bradshaw to Waterman Road is ridiculous.
And this,
People just they can be in the right-hand lane and go to the left-hand lane, trying to get out of the traffic, trying to get through.
and this is from 2:30 until probably about 3:30 or 3:45 while the kids are being picked up.
Elk Grove was on the news tonight saying they're looking for bus drivers. They don't have no bus drivers. Well, the people are bringing their kids to school, and they don't care how they get them out, how they get in and out of the parking lot. The fact of the matter is, they even had a car blocking the exit out of the parking lot tonight, so they were having to go up to the stoplight and come out.
Yep.
People were coming down there to that U-turn stoplight and turning around there, and it was being blocked, so people couldn't turn around there.
And then you have the traffic going up Bradshaw to the roundabout up on Sheldon, trying to get to the high school up on Bond and Bradshaw at the same time. So there is a big traffic issue in that area.
Well, I don't know, but I know they need to do something about that one on Calvine, because those people, I had a car drive almost right into the side of me tonight. I mean, she just flat cut me off.
And unfortunately, that is not something that the clerk or planning can do anything about.
Well, the board of supervisors can do something about it.
Okay,
So
Bill.
Bill,
Send highway patrol out there and have them, because that's on the Sacramento side. Now I'm going to get a hold of the Elk Grove Police Department and see if they can't do something about the other side. But I mean, this is just ridiculous. These people bringing
Bill,
they either have to go into the school and park and pick their kids up, or something like that. Not pick them up on the middle of the street and pick them up at the bus stop and stuff like that, and then pull right out in the main line of traffic. And that's what they're doing.
Hey, Mr. Thompson, I hear your concerns. I have noted them down. I'm going to go ahead and call Superintendent Hoffman, who's the superintendent of Elk Grove USD, and also email the chief of police for Elk Grove, as well as the CHP. That's a little bit outside of their jurisdiction, Bill, but the EGUSD police superintendent, as well as the superintendent for Elk Grove Unified School Districts would have a much better say on this. And I do realize that you're not just concerned about traffic, but you're concerned about the safety of the students and all the motorists. So with that said, I will take this on. I appreciate your concern. Actually, I just found out that I'm neighbors with two of the members here tonight, because I also live in a Lennar home close to where y'all are at. So I will take this on, Bill, if you'd allow me. I think I know who to contact, because there has to be a much better, safer way to pick up students, and whether it's enforcement or whether it's better rulemaking. I think at the end of the day, we need to make sure that all motorists, pedestrians, and students are safe alike. So I will take
I go down to the highway patrol office down here on Stockton Boulevard, but they won't fill out the complaint blanks for me. So,
yeah, unfortunately, sir, they're gonna just pass your complaint over to EGUSD and maybe the sheriff in your jurisdiction.
Well, the highway patrol is the only one that can do anything about it. As far as the sheriff's department, you're spitting in the wind and it's blowing in your face there. It has to be the highway patrol.
Well, let me talk to.
When you get into Elk Grove, well, the highway patrol, Elk Grove runs the highway patrol off.
Yeah, let me talk to Superintendent Hoffman. I have a meeting with him on Monday, and I also have a meeting with a couple other folks close by. So let me talk to them about it. I definitely hear your concern, but Alma is correct. I think it's a little bit out of scope of the planning department and the chief, but I do hear your concern. Okay.
thank you for your help on this one.
Thank you. I will take this.
Now,
any other
I just
questions?
thought I'd mention it. I thought maybe the people could talk to Don and see if he couldn't get something done about it.
Yeah, I was going to supervisor Natoli.
Talk to him. He's like talking to a telephone pole.
I will include Supervisor Natoli. All right, Bill?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
We got other stuff to discuss.
Yeah, I was just wondering, any other council member comments or concerns? Okay, I think I'm hearing none. Any other public comment, Madam Clerk?
And no, there are no additional public comments.
Okay. Well, with from the board, unless you feel so otherwise, I'd like to call the meeting to close at 7:27 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Another feisty
Thank you.
meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Night.